Good morning, class. PPG Week 6, Lesson 2. I mean Part 2 because Part 1 is my observation. Anyway, it's a separate topic, a detailed topic that will happen on Monday. But we're going to focus more on the entirety of Week 6, and this is it. Listen. Lesson 5, Politics in the Early Philippines to Spanish Colonial Period. Let's summarize this. You have the book. You can follow me through the book. Pause this video, grab it. Leadership is not a person or a position. It is a complex moral relationship between people based on trust, obligation, commitment, emotion, and shared vision of the good. Sorry, I'm going a little fast because there are 84 slides. Now, this means that there should be a respectable relationship between the leader and the subordinate. And the foundation should be trust, obligation, commitment, emotion, shared vision of the good, common good. This means that if you have a leader in the classroom, Uh, and you should trust your leader. Not only trust your leader, you should know your obligation as a follower, as a member. There should be commitment, meaning there should be deadlines, there should be attending meetings, there should be doing your part if there's a project, those things. And also, of course, emotion, meaning maturity. And it works also with the leader, both ways. They should all both have both sides, trust, obligation, commitment, emotion. You know already this. As a matter of fact, it also says in the Bible, let's integrate and two walk together except they be agreed. Amos 3:3. Meaning even the Bible tells us there are obligations with two parties, even if there are hierarchies, leadership and members. Okay, there are two misconceptions about Philippine politics that must be corrected. First, there's no politics during the prior to colonization. That's not true. We were already actually colonized or invaded by Muslims and Indian traders before Spaniards. It just so happened that Spanish people or the Spaniards or the King of Spain have the machinery to control the guns. Uh, I think there were no guns yet. Spears to control the people. That's why they stayed here for around 300 years. So there are a lot of benefits anyway for them staying here. Second misconception is that every issue or problem we have in politics and governance was caused by colonization, whichever colonization that is. Well, we already know that we're mature enough. We all know that problems always occur when two minds, independent minds, meet together. That's why our lesson last week is coexistence. Okay? So whether there's governance or not, or as long as there are two groups of people transacting, that's already politics. There's already governance because they are following certain rules, ethics. Okay? So the misconception that there's issues or problems in politics are done through colonization. Nah, come on. You know that better. Politics during the pre-colonial Philippines was diverse, heterogeneous, cultural, meaning it's diverse. They're being influenced by different environment. Politics depends on culture and how people accept rules and regulations. Don't forget that. And here, before the Spanish period, here's what I'm talking about. Classless society, or yeah, sorry. We have warriors. Classless are those people who just form a group, then they're gonna hunt. Then after that, no more group. They'll go their separate ways and go to their homes or whatever cave they live at. So next is warriors. These are the people who, conquer lands. And they have this, what you call, hierarchy already. They have formal leaders. Okay, classless, no. They just, if they want to hunt, they just gather together. Oh, pare, tara, kain tayo. Then after that, okay, wala na. That's it. Warriors, they have formal governance. They have leaders, and their prime purpose is to protect their land, their people, and they have systems and process. Now, when people became more modern, there's now this plutocracy. It depends on the wealth you have. And now formal organizations started called principalities. Now we already have positions, that too, etc. Read the book. So we are able to see pre-colonial politics was molded by community needs and external influences. Whatever they need that time, they're gonna plan and say, okay, we will do this. That's politics because you're creating rules, governance. Okay, and during that time, even before the Spaniards came to colonize us, there were already Muslims, Indian traders, settlers in our country. And they already formally introduced leadership. Remember, Muslims, they have Datu. So where's that? That's in what? The fourth part in class societies. Okay, that's it. So let's go to colonization. Now we will focus on this chart. I will summarize it. You can follow me through the book. So obviously, the arrows are there to designate what? Authority. Okay, so in other words, whoever's on top is the boss, have authority to make decision or alter decisions, people at the bottom. So we have the colonial government, that is Spain, and under Spain, they have these two main branches, Governor General, which is headed by locals, judicial branch, which is members here are from Spain, okay? And the rest at the bottom, the provincial government, alcaldia, are locals, municipal government, corregimiento or corregidor, they're a mix of Spaniards and Filipinos, but primarily Spaniards because they're the one who are handling military things, uh, you know, disputes in the community. And city government, ayuntamiento, and these are the, small governments or people who will like to, say, create local rules, those things. And they're all in different areas, okay? So, no questions. Next, okay, Governor General, they create the laws, they collect taxes on behalf of Spain. They make the rules, they make sure that everything is running properly. Okay? Royal Audiencia Residencia, they're the one who check the Governor General. They report directly to Spain if there are abuses, if there are corruption, they report it directly to the governor of Spain. So they also have the power to replace the executive branch, which is the governor general, which are locals, Filipinos. Sorry. As you can see, there's this arrow. They directly report to Spain. Okay, that's easy. Now we have Residencia. After the Royal Audiencia, in somewhere between the century, you can check the book. I deleted the page here. They were replaced by Residencia, meaning locals. Because the Royal Audiencia, they come to here, go back to Spain, etc. They report to the Spanish government directly. But they also create laws, etc. So there, once, since the Philippines got bigger, they conquer lands, they develop, farm and etc. So they decided to create a branch. That's residential, meaning locals who will watch over the affairs of the Governor General, which is the local leader, the highest local leader as appointed by Spain. Okay. Next is here. Alcaldia, they manage local affairs, civilian affairs. Corregimiento, they, handle military affairs or conflict in uh, local affairs. Okay, so like for example, there's this misunderstanding, there's people stealing, killing, murders. They're being handled or being, you know, pacified by the corregimiento because they are the military, in other words. PNP, yan. Here, Barrios, these are all locals. Just follow the arrows. So they're the local leaders, okay? They're also pushed to follow or implement the laws as given by the Governor General or the King of Spain. Okay, questions? Of course, you don't have questions. I can't hear you. Let's continue. Okay, there are two revolutions. Okay, we're done with the colonization. Now let's go to the, after colonization. Okay. In 1896, the revolution was a nationalistic movement spearheaded by middle-class Filipinos as well as the Filipino masses. There are two: the middle class, the semi-rich, and the masses, the poor. So there are two revolutions in 1896. Okay? While the propaganda movement, or people convincing the population, the leaders convincing population, propaganda to what? To what you call cut the colonization of Spain. In other words, kakalas na sila. They're focused on assimilation of Philippines and Spain and representation of Filipinos in Spanish court. Okay, kasi there are two classes. The propaganda, they're under Emilio Aguinaldo. And what they want to do is not, be independent but still under Spain. Meaning they're gonna rule their affairs. Wala nang magbabantay Spain. Pero yeah, you can go here, we can be under you, but we also have to be independent. Ganun yan, propaganda movement. Tawag propaganda movement kasi dalawa sila eh. Yung isa kay, KKK. Ayan, you guess it right. Kay Andres Bonifacio. Okay? Now, kay Andres Bonifacio, gusto nila kumalas agad. Let us, remove Spain from authority and rule. That's what Andres Bonifacio want. Emilio Aguinaldo, the propaganda movement, it's called propaganda movement. For Bonifacio, it's called the revolution movement. For Emilio Aguinaldo, as I mentioned, they are what? For still under Spain, but, a sort of being independent. KKK, despite having governing body composed of Supremo, we know who's our Supremo. There are actually a lot of Supremo in KKK, but the most prominent is Andres Bonifacio. They have formal organization, and they are democratic in nature. Members are also organized into Sangguniang Bayan Provincial Councils, Sangguniang Balangkay Popular Councils. So, meron silang formal representation in the provinces. Although, some scholars argued that the Katipunan or KKK in itself is a government. Yes, obviously. Yung example kanina ay meron silang formal structure. Tama? And ang nag-lead ay si Andres Bonifacio. It should be, they wanted him to be credited as the first president of the Philippines, which did not happen kasi nga, for some reason, people dictate who our heroes are. As a matter of fact, who named Jose Rizal as our national hero? It was the Americans. There was no say in the Filipinos. They were dictated by the Americans. Yeah, that's a fun fact. Actually, that's what my professor told me in college. You just have to research on that. So Andres Bonifacio, they thought that he should be credited as the first president of the Philippines. But because they only focused, or their government, the KKK, focused on Caloocan, Malabon, Mandaluyong, San Juan, Pandacan, Santa Ana, Pasay, Noveleta, Cavite, Viejo, Imus, San Isidro, and what's that? Okay. Just check the book in Nueva Ecija. I forgot that last line. So, sabi, hindi naman siya pang malawakan, pang buong Pilipinas. Kaya, hindi naman siya pwede masabing presidente ng Pilipinas. Although, yung kay Emilio Aguinaldo, I mean, hindi siya talaga organized. It's like a military junta. And yet, it's not even all over the Philippines. I mean, there's no such thing as all over the Philippines that time because we still have Muslims, we still have people, indigenous people, right? But nevertheless, since I guess somebody dictated that it should be Emilio Aguinaldo, then we can't do anything. And besides, Emilio Aguinaldo was more educated, and he created his own, what you call, uh, oath of office and everything. So I guess that counts, right? Internal politics, especially the conflict between the Magdalo and the Magdiwang factions in Cavite, would also undermine the KKK. Meron faction. Lahat naman may faction eh. So lahat yata gusto maging leader para ngayon. Anong faction ngayon? Uh, Government versus yun ang gugulo sa government ngayon. Sino? Pasensya na, sasabihin ko to, ay mga Duterte. Nagugulo sila, no? Sinong kumukontra ang mga ito? Okay. Eto na. So, dati meron ng KKK. Kasa sabi ni Emilio Aguinaldo, ay, wag. Kontrahin natin to. Kaya nagkaroon ng dalawang faction. Humiwalay si Aguinaldo sa KKK. Mga dalawa. Yan. At faction would propose for the reconfiguration of the Katipunan into a revolutionary government. So, sinuggest ni Emilio Aguinaldo, hindi. Dapat, hiwalay tayo. Dapat meron a sort of a faction. And that's what you call the Tejeros Convention. Convention yan, sorry. Thus calling the establishment of a new constitution as well as the election of new president. Ayan! Then the Supremo Andres Bonifacio would lose to Emilio Aguinaldo in this controversial election. Ayan! See? Sa ang founder ng KKK, si Andres, no? Tapos, biglang singit si Emilio, sige, ako na lang. Kaya nga some people say, Emilio Aguinaldo had Andres Bonifacio killed. I don't know how true that is, based on, things that I read. But go on and research on that. Sometimes, we don't know that. Sorry. So, here's the house. Historical house where the Tejero convention held, where Andres Bonifacio was on the fields leading his group KKK, and then Emilio Aguinaldo, siyempre, mas mayaman si Emilio Aguinaldo kasi Fisan si Andres, although he also come from a certain family. But eto, ginawa nila dito, okay, ganito, mag-elect tayo, etc. Dapat tayo na ang central government, sabi ni Emilio Aguinaldo. Ayan siya. The revolutionary government of Emilio Aguinaldo would suffer significant loss. Kahit na, di ba, Tejeros Convention. Kumalas sila. Pero weak pala sila. Weak. Oo. Emilio Aguinaldo, kaya nga inisip ko bakit siya yung first president. No? So, gumawa sila ng central government, pero natatalo pa rin sila sa mga Spaniards. Okay, class, take note. Dalawa yan, no? KKK ni Andres, Tejeros Convention ni Emilio Aguinaldo, gusto silang nanguna, nag-elect, etc. So, sige, naging president siya, etc. Gumawa ng constitution. Talunan naman. O kumusta naman si Andres Bonifacio? Aguinaldo would be forced to retreat to Bulacan and draft a truce now known as the Pact of Biak na Bato. Sabi na Aguinaldo, natatalo sa mga Spaniards. Sige, revolution, magtayo tayo, Tejeros Convention. And then, natalo, sige, makipagkompromiso na lang tayo sa mga Spaniards. Ayan, Pact of Biak na Bato. Sino nang nakapunta sa Biak na Bato? Ako. Maganda doon. Daming kuweba. Huwag kayong pumunta ngayon kasi umuulan. Landslide. Sa Sierra Madre Mountains yan. Eto, nung lumayas na si Emilio Aguinaldo, ito mga pictures. Ayan siya. Nga talunan, bye-bye. Revolutionary generals in the Philippines, on the other hand, Andres Bonifacio, would not surrender to Spaniards in Aguinaldo's absence kasi lumayas si Aguinaldo. Talunan Tago-tago na. And they will continue to revolt against Spain. Yan. So, sina Andres Bonifacio, kung si Aguinaldo sumulat kasi nag-assume siyang presidency, etc. At the back of Aguinaldo, Andres, natalo, lumayas. Aguinaldo said, Andres Bonifacio, laban pa rin tayo. Sino ba si yung Tejeros Convention? Eto, kaya lumaban sila, punitin ang sedula. Kasi ayaw nila. Diba? Pero ngayon may sedula pa tayo, class, no? Integrate natin sa social issues, no? Magbabayad ka pa rin. Ngayon, Buti mga teachers, hindi na lang kumukuha ng sedula. Yun na lang license nila. No, dati pinapakuha pa kami ng sedula. Mura lang. Ako, nagko-collect ako ng sedula eh. Since natuto akong mag-sedula, nakakolect yan since 1985. Meron ako sedula hanggang ngayon every year. So kahit hindi pa ako teacher noon, kumukuha ako ng sedula. Dapat punitin ko lahat sila. Ano? In Hong Kong, ayan, dyan lumayas si Aguinaldo. So, pumunta siya ng Hong Kong. During this war, nakikipag-coordinate na ang Philippines under Aguinaldo sa Amerika. Kasi gera na yan. Okay? So, Aguinaldo would with American diplomats and military officers such as Commodore George Dewey, who was then tasked by the American government to neutralize the Spanish fleet in the Philippines. So, tumutulong daw ang Amerika sa pagsugpo ng mga mananakop na Espanya at dyan. So, nagsik ng advice si Aguinaldo sa mga Americans. Pumunta siya ng Hong Kong. Eto, sumakay siya ng boat. Hindi ko alam saan si Aguinaldo dyan. I-google nyo na lang. Pero that was the actual picture. Galing, no? May camera na sila nun, no? Imagine, sasakay sila ng maliit na bangka na yan. Ito si Commodore George Dewey. Ayan, siya daw yung pinaka-leader sa representing America para sugpuin o talunin ang mga Spaniards sa pananakop tuluyan ng Pilipinas. After 300 years, no, biglang nagising yung Amerika. Tara, punta tayo sa Pilipinas, kunin natin. Altered history. The Battle of Manila Bay, George Dewey, U.S. Naval commander who defeated the Spanish fleet at the Battle of Manila Bay during the Spanish-American War. So, sabi dito, nanalo ang mga U.S. sa Spaniards noong 1898. His victory resulted, pagkuha ng Pilipinas. Okay? And signaled the expansion of the country's power in the Western Pacific. Ayan. So, tinalo niya, ang Amerika, tinalo ang Spain para lang sakupin din tayo, hindi para palayain. Wahahaha. Okay, back to the book. Altered history yun. The Americans would encourage Aguinaldo to go back to the Philippines, establish a dictatorial government, and continue the revolution in Spain. So, di ba pumunta ng Hong Kong si Aguinaldo para kausapin si Dewey, mga Americans, at sabi ni Dewey, balik ka sa Pilipinas, sige, lumabang ka sa mga Spaniards, na, at magtayo ka ng revolutionary government. Yan. So, di ba natalo yung Tejeros Convention? Pumalik. Pumunta ng Hong Kong, bumalik. Kaya, laban daw, sabi ni Aguinaldo. Commodore Dewey also promised Aguinaldo. Yan, si Dewey, yung picture kanina, sabi niya, sige, pag natalo mga Spaniards, ay hindi namin sasakupin yung Pilipinas, which alam natin hindi totoo yun. Diba? Nagkaroon nga ng Philippine-American War. At marami rin abuses ang mga Amerikano. Marami silang pinatay na Pilipino, lahingkit mga Muslim sa Mindanao. So, sabi ni Dewey, hindi kami magsasakop. Okay, commercial. Okay. Ito, add-on, wala sa book ito. Philippine-American, mag-cross-reference tayo, no? Integration. Philippine-American War between the United States and Philippine revolutionaries of 1899 to 1902. An insurrection that may be seen as the continuation of the Philippine Revolution against Spain. So, after na sabi ng Amerika, tinalo nila yung Spain, yan na. So, sinasakop tayo, lumaban pa rin ang mga Filipino laban sa pananakop ng Amerikano. Kaya meron tinatawag na Philippine-American War 1899 to 1902. Pero sabi niya, kanina, di ba? Sa history books natin, hindi namin sasakupan ng Pilipinas, sabi ni Dewey. Pero dahil under si Dewey ng government ng Amerika, ay pag sinabi ng Amerika, sakupin natin yan, sayang yung pera, sayang yung tax. Pero meron naman good side. It began after the United States assumed sovereignty of the Philippines following the defeat of Spain in the Spanish-American War. Uy, natalo daw ang Spain sa Spanish-American War. Ne? Back to the book. As soon as Aguinaldo was back in the Philippines by 1898, he would be given the instruction not to enter Intramuros. Kasi nga, by this time, Spanish forces have been defeated by the revolutionaries. Tignan mo, nung lumaya si Aguinaldo, pumunta ang Hong Kong, pagbalik niya, anong nangyari? Natalo na yung Spain. Okay? Sa Intramuros. So, ang nag-handle dyan, yung grupo ni Andres Bonifacio. Imagine, talunin si Aguinaldo, lumayas, bumalik, talo na pa ang Spaniards dito noon. At claim ng Amerika, sila yung nagpatalo. They are saying that Spain lost through America, by America. Ito yung picture ni Aguinaldo. Ito siya, yung naka-black. Ito, naka-black, yung naka-ganon. Dito sa baba. Naka-black. Naka-ganon siya dun sa puti. Yan si Aguinaldo. Ay, ito pala. Nakikita mo ito. Ayan. Ito yung mga katipuneros, I'm sorry, na tinalo nila ang Spain sa Intramuros. Sinong nakapunta ng Intramuros? Huwag ngayon, basa Manila. Pero tayo yung pumunta doon, maganda. Ito mga katipuneros, tikas nila, no? Tinalo nila mga Spaniards. And a form of surrender was only the thing missing for the Philippines to have total independence. Okay? A formal surrender was the only thing missing for the Philippines to have total independence. Formal surrender, kanino? Spain. Kasi nananalo ng Pilipinas. Bakbakan Katipuneros. Wala siya ginalo doon, majority ay mga Katipuneros under Andres Bonifacio. So, panalo ng Pilipinas kaso, ayaw, ma-pride ang Spain. Ano ginawa niya? Ayan. Dahil ayaw niyang magsabi na natalo siya sa mga mababang nilalang daw. Ang baba ng tingin nila sa atin, no? Mababang nilalang. Yun nga ang una, sabi nila. Puro tayo savages, walang politics, walang governance, pero meron yung mga dato, no? So, para hindi nakakaya ang Spain, nakipag-negotiate siya sa Amerika, binenta nila ang Pilipinas kunwari sa Amerika. Kaya nga, yun ang claim ng Amerika na natalo namin ang Spain kasi binigay nila sa atin yung Pilipinas. Ayan. At ang tawag doon ay yung Treaty of Paris. Ayan. Binenta nila ang Pilipinas. Hindi na naman sa kanila. I mean, natalo na sila. Nakuha pa nilang makinabang. Ang siba ng Spain. No? Pero, siyempre, that was history past. Pwede na kayo man pumunta ng Spain. Maging citizen kasi lahat ng kinolonize nila ay mayroon what you call, para si Marian Rivera, di ba? Doon siya tumira. Maging Spanish citizen. Ito yung Treaty of Paris. Ayan. Pirma-pirma. Okay, altered history. Ayan. Ito sa akin opinion lang to, no? Part na yung akin pananaw. Pero wala to sa book. Nagsinungaling ang Amerika kay Aguinaldo, kaya nakarma siya, talunan sa Spanish. Trinidor, si Andres Bonifacio, nagkaroon ng faction na pinangunahan sa Terejos Convention ni Aguinaldo. At para hindi mukhang talunan ng Spain, kunwari binenta sa Amerika, yun ang Treaty of Paris. Imagine, nanalo na si Andres Bonifacio and ang KKK laban sa Spain, pero ayon sa ibang historian, pinapatay siya ni Emilio Aguinaldo na nagpakilalang presidente ng Pilipinas. Yeah. Research yan. Malawak yan eh. That's called conspiracy theories. Pero it's worth looking into. Kasi ang history, it can be altered. Kaya ang linakay ko dyan, altered history. In the end, number 4, nagka-Philippine-American War na una na sila nila sinabi di nila sasakupin ang Pilipinas. Remember Dewey? Sabi niya, sige, balik ka sa Pilipinas. Ang galing ng mga Amerikano. Siya yung lagi nagpapasimula ng war. Even ngayon sa Ukraine. Kaya nagkaroon ng after 1898, noon, tapos na yung nabenta na yung Pilipinas sa Amerika, nag-start yung Philippine-American War, 1899. Kasi ayaw ng mga Pilipinong magpasakop nga. Eto, mga Amerikano yan. Kabayo na El Caballo. Ayan. Takot mga Amerikano. Sa Philippines yan. Sige lang, tago muna kayo. Hey, Joe. Ito naman yung sa atin, no? Wow. Uniform. Okay, summary. Early Philippine politics, principalities, alam natin to. So, early Philippine politics, 1565, nandun yun yung classless, yung warriors, at yung dalawang society na meron ng datu. Okay? Spanish colonial period, 1565 to 1821, doon na-establish yung Cebu. First government was established in Cebu. Then transferred to Manila, 1571. Go through the book. Spanish colonial period, ayan, doon nagsimula 1821 to 1898, ang hamba. Okay, 1521 dapat ito. No? Kasi dapat 100 years. Okay, typo. Ayan, until nag-stop doon sa revolution. The same year, Aguinaldo would declare another revolutionary government with the Malolos Constitution as its backbone signed January 1899. Ayan, 1899, kung nagsimula yung American War and Filipino War. PhilAm. Different types of political system were in the Philippines that time. Barangays were ruled by Datu. There's this Indian influence, Hindu. Kaya nagkaroon ng status na Raha. Diba? And sultanates, ayan. Sultan's authority derived. So these are what you call Muslim classes, you know. And the Spaniards changed the nature of politics, okay. Spaniards consolidated Filipino communities, encomiendos, pueblos, nandito nakita yung chart, right? At kaya inorganize nila para makakollect ng tax na maayos at marule nila ang mga tao ng maayos. Yan, pueblos. Catholic churches were also what? Part of the not only spreading Christianity, but part of the political system. Yan. And, yan, Manila Center. There's this discrimination also found, kaya kailangan maging Katoliko mga tao doon. Pag hindi ka Catholic or hindi ka nabinyagan bilang Katoliko, anong mangyayari? May discrimination. Ang tawag sa inyo, rebelde, or sa local language ay tulisan. Ayan, meron ng oppression. Okay? And that's it. The summary of week number 6. Okay, I have to cut it short so that you won't get bored watching. Have a nice day. God bless everybody. If you have questions, we're going to answer them. You can PM me or you can ask questions tomorrow if we have classes. I think we're going to have a nice day. Bye.